Welcome back to the Combo Cabal. I am your host, Bryant Cook, and today we're playing Hypergenesis Combo. I actually uploaded this deck about 4 months ago, and you can find that video in the card above. So, what has changed since then? In that video, I went 4-1, and my complaint was that Chancellor of the Annex wasn't a very good tertiary creature. It just wasn't what our deck wanted to do. It wasn't powerful enough. So since then, we've actually received quite the level up in Atraxa Grand Unifier from Phyrexia All Will Be One. It is a 7-mana 7/7 with Death Touch, Vigilance, Lifelink, and Flying. I always forget that one. And then when it enters the battlefield, you look at the top 10, put a card of each type from those to your hand. Obviously a very powerful card, but what's even more important about this card is that it's blue. So we are a Force of Negation, Force of Will deck. We have 8 copies in our deck. And one of the unique things about this archetype is that you can actually use Force of Negation to protect your own combo on your opponent's turn using our Cascade spells, which brings me to how the deck even functions. So we have 8 Cascade spells, Shardless Agent and Violent Outburst, which is an instant, and then we don't play anything that costs 2 or less, other than Hypergenesis itself. So from there, you cascade into Hypergenesis, you put into play the Atraxa Grand Unifier, Gristlebrand, Omniscience, and Embercool the Aeon's Torn. And then from there, you can do some pretty degenerate things. So that's kind of cool. And if you Violent Outburst on your opponent's turn, you can play the Hypergenesis as an instant, which means that you could protect it with the Force of Negation. Additionally, we have Show and Tell as a backup plan to just put a really broken card like Gristlebrand onto the battlefield. One sort of nice thing about this deck, in my opinion, is that you have Simian Spirit Guide and Elvish Spirit Guide to accelerate into your Cascade spells, so that way you can have some turn 1 Show and Tells or turn 1 Shardless Agent, whatever, and that's pretty nice. So the one thing that Atraxa isn't is red, and when we go to our sideboard, that means that it doesn't pitch to Fury, but Fury's pretty important for, hitting other things that might be stopping us, Containment Priest, whatever. I think that this card is needed, but it does pitch to Force of Vigor, so that's another benefit of Atraxa. So yes, it pitches to the 8 forces, it also pitches to Force of Vigor out of the sideboard. Mystical Dispute is a counterspell that fits the criteria of the deck. Like I mentioned, we can't play things that cost 2 or less, so Violent Outburst checks, and Mystical Dispute just passes the test. So that's our sideboard interaction. From there, we have Leyline of Sanctity for discard decks, and Leyline of the Void for the ever so popular Reanimator strategies. Alright, so the last time that I recorded this deck, it was actually the fastest video to date that I had ever uploaded to the YouTube channel. I don't know if we'll do that today, but I'd like to find out. Let me know what you think of the deck or any suggestions you may have in the comment section down below. I greatly appreciate that. But for now, we're going to hop on into match number 1. I hope to see you there. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You can also show your support by becoming a member of this channel. You get sweet perks such as badges, emotes, early access to videos, exclusive members-only content, and access to our members Discord section. As you increase the tiers, there are other rewards such as shop discounts, sideboard guides, and even free donation decks. Click the join button down below to find out more. We also have other ways you can support us, like theepicsforum.com/shop or submitting a donation deck via theepicsforum.com/donation decks. That's enough for now. Let's play some Magic. Welcome to the first match. We're on the draw. We don't have a Cascade creature, and unfortunately, we've actually opened up one of the 2 copies of Hypergenesis in our deck. That makes this a pretty easy mulligan, in my opinion. We do have Force of Wills, but they're just not enough here. Let's go to 6. This is much better. Okay, so we have 3 lands. Obviously, the Omniscience is good. I think I'm going to bottom the Trop. So you could bottom the Omniscience, but I think I want it to pitch to the Force in case we need to protect our combo. So we have Spirit Guides in our deck that could accelerate us into the Outburst. I don't really want to have to worry about that. Or if we get to live the dream and we get to put Omniscience in and then cast the Atraxa, I mean, that's pretty cool too. I mean, I guess that's actually not any better, but we could use the Omniscience to do more cool stuff, I guess is my point. All right, turn 1 is a Saga. Spirit Guide. Not a Spirit Guide, but it is another blue card to pitch to this Force of Will. That is relevant. Spirit Guide is our best draw at the moment. Saga goes up to 2. Please be lands, I guess. That's probably our best matchup. Interesting. So is Cephalid Breakfast, probably? Yeah, it's Breakfast. There's the Illusionist. So we need to force this if we want to be able to win. Pitch the Omniscience. We might need both of these in order to win this. Okay, so they're on 5 cards. Draw step. land. We have to pass. Urza Saga will go up to 3 counters here. There's no harm in fetching, because if we let this ability resolve, a Pithing Needle could be a pain in the butt, and they're not a wasteland deck anyway. They grab the Shuko. You have another Illusionist. Ponder. They do not shuffle on the Ponder. That worries me a little bit. Tapping for a blue. They cycle step through, so they guarantee have the Illusionist. If I cast Show and Tell, that is not good, because it just means that we're dead. But we're also dead if I pass. So I don't know if there's actually a good answer here. Oh no. Okay, so I think the answer is I'm going to wait for them to put the Illusionist on the stack and then cast Violent Outburst and hope to hit a force off the Atraxa. They are a 4 days deck, though, which is, you know, I'm playing into their strength here. They play and activate a Marsh Flats. There's the Illusionist. It's our time to interact. So we'll cast a Violent Outburst. Cascade triggers. We need our opponent to not have anything within their 4 cards in hand. Hypergenesis on the stack. And they have a Force of Will. Okay, we are dead. Let's go to the next game. So, traditionally, I don't love Graveyard Hate versus our opponent's deck. That said, I think we probably need it because we're light on other interactive pieces. So I'm going to board in the Ley Lines. They are a Teferi deck, so they could just, you know, Teferi it away, but I think we kind of have to have it. So there is a question here on whether or not you want Spirit Guides. They allow you to be fast, but I don't know if this matchup is necessarily about being fast. We have 16 lands and we're trying to hit 3 mana. I don't know. I could see myself shaving like a couple copies of Emrakul. Just because like if you like Show and Tell and Emrakul, your opponent could just untap and kill you. So I think you want like 2 of them for the Omniscience plan. And then let's try like boarding out a couple copies of the Spirit Guides at 61. Probably don't need the basic forest. Actually, Force of Negation isn't particularly good against them. Because they're a creature combo deck. We could try this. I don't know if I love this plan, but I do think Force of Negation is a little bit weak here. So this hand is missing a Cascade spell. We do have double interactive piece. I think I'm going to mulligan. Okay. Keep, I guess. And let's get rid of the Shardless Agent. Opponent with the mulligan to 5. Okay, played the Scalding Tarn, passed the turn. Flooded Strand out of the gate. Underground Sea. Sure, you can Cabal Therapy me. They hit my Force of Will. Okay. That's a bummer. We are looking to draw large creatures and mana number 3. Unfortunately, that is not it. They play Flooded Strand and pass the turn. Draw. We have drawn land 3, so now we need large creatures. They cycle step through. We know that they have Cephalid Illusionist off this. You can also get a Thassa's Oracle to beat Graveyard Hate this way. So if they just hold that in hand, they can Show and Tell it into play. Land number 3. Teferi. Well, I'm going to attempt to Mystical Dispute this. They know that I have it. Okay, so they have 3 cards in hand, one of which is a Cephalid Illusionist. Let's fetch here just to thin, because I'm trying to draw into a large creature. Draw. Let's attempt the Show and Tell. See if they let this happen. So they have 3 cards. Worst case scenario. Ooh, they let it go. Okay. I was going to say worst case, or well, I guess I didn't mean let it go, but they countered it. So worst case scenario would have been if they allowed it to resolve, put Illusionist in play, and then dazed my ley line. Shuko, 1 card. Okay. No second Illusionist. That's good. Draw. I think I should probably cast the Agent. Hypergenesis. Omniscience. Leyline of the Void. Okay, so we have stuff on the table now. A way to prevent them from winning. They had a second Shuko. And now we're just looking for any large creature. That is not it. So we will begin the beatdown. Hiya! Go, Shardless Agent. They draw land number 4. Draw step. Force of Will. It's not a bad one. Alright, maybe I'm just a tempo deck this game. We have our 2-2 in play, and now we just control the game. Draw step. They played a Flooded Strand and pass. Alright. We are the beatdown. I told you, we have 2-2s and we beat. Swing better. I mean, 3-turn clock. Who even needs a large creature anymore, right? Right? They draw up to 2 cards here. I guess I'll counter this? I don't know. Like, I'd hate to get burned by a Teferi or something at some point. So I could give my creatures +1/+1, but that doesn't change the clock at the moment. So if they fetch again, Violent Outburst becomes lethal, but it doesn't if they don't fetch. Draw for turn. Okay, we're really just on the beatdown plan. Swing better. I should play out the land. Because if they do something to stop me from winning on our turn, it theoretically gives me a higher odds of drawing into a large creature. Ponder, sure. And they conceded. The beatdown was too much. Let's resubmit. So this is a turn 2 Griselbrand. I think I'd keep this. We're really looking to draw something else. Ponder. Okay. So that gives me turn 2 with backup. I mean, that wasn't the worst. There's a Saga, sure thing. The Illusionist. I think I'm supposed to let that go. Fetch. Grab a Volcanic, draw. Geez, I really wish I had another blue card in hand. Okay. Come on, tap out for Teferi. We should probably respond to that. I'll fetch. They have 4 cards in hand. I think you're supposed to hide the Spirit Guide. So that way if they daze, they might not have as many resources. Hypergenesis. And they do daze. I will pitch Spirit Guide. And then we'll pay. Hypergenesis. Now they force pitching Brainstorm, so they have 1 unknown in hand. We will force back. Alright, Griselbrand. Another Illusionist. Okay. So now we need to stop the Nomads. We have 3 forces in our deck that we can draw to. That didn't do it. So if we hit another Violent Outburst, I could theoretically Cascade again. But no, we drew the Hypergenesis. That's not even true. We have to draw Force of Will here. Alright. And I didn't do it. So if I would have sequenced differently, we could have won this game. So if I would have pitched the Spirit Guide instead of trying to be cheeky, I could... No, Mystical Dispute wouldn't counter this anyway. Wow. Yeah, we just lose. I don't think there's anything we can do here. Unfortunately, the Hypergenesis is in our hand, because I could put the Atraxa into play and dig, but that's not an option here. Yeah, alright, I'm going to concede. So, there's a couple things that went wrong here. Obviously, we didn't draw Force of Will. The other issue is that I actually drew the only other copy of Hypergenesis. It's a pretty big bummer, but sometimes that's how it goes. We're 0-1 against Cephalid Breakfast. Looking to make playing your favorite combo deck much easier? Look no further than the Epic Storm Mini Token Combo Pack, which is available at theepicstorm.com/shop for $14.99. This combo token pack comes with 84 double-sided tokens. That includes our classic Storm and mana tokens, as well as fan favorites such as Goblins, Squirrels, and Slime Time Live. But that's not all. We've expanded this token pack to cover a variety of formats with new tokens. Stop on by the epicstorm.com/shop and make an easy decision to elevate your combo game. Match number 2, we're on the draw. We are 1 mana away from doing the thing, so let's keep. It does need to be a green mana for what it's worth, so Elvish Spirit Guide, Tropical Island, Fetch Land, those things. Misty Rainforest. Okay. I like seeing forest. Okay, this is a great matchup for us, assuming I just draw into a green source in the first few turns. Draw. That was not it. Pass. Yeah, so our Shepherd, we don't have a counterspell in hand anyway. The Seiju. And another Wirewood Symbiote. Please, deck, give me green source. Pretty please. Pretty please, pretty please, pretty please. No. Alright, so this is awkward. We had 2 hits and we failed on both. Discard a Violent Outburst. Just showing our opponent what we're doing in case I end up losing this game. Alright, Elvish Visionary, you've got it. Birchlore Rangers. They have 2 cards in hand. They attack for 3, sure thing. Puts me to 17. Another Shepherd, 1 card in hand. Please, deck. Why are you like this? Who made you this way? The answer is me. Ah, jeez. Discard another Violent Outburst. So they picked up an Allosaurus Shepherd. I don't know what the point of returning a Shepherd is, but okay. So they'll attack. I'll go to 12. They return Visionary, untap the Allosaurus Shepherd. Then they play the Visionary again. They draw a card. Up to 3 cards in hand. There's the Shepherd. Pretty please, pretty please, pretty please. Why would that ever happen to me? We are most likely dead here. So our opponent can get a Dryad Arbor and then activate their Allosaurus Shepherd. Or they can just take random game actions. Maybe they're not interested in lethal. Maybe winning the game isn't what they came to do here today. Why should I judge why they play Magic? Oh, you just have natural order? Okay. There we go. Nothing mattered. And we lose. Top card of our deck will be a green source. Okay. Sure. That was miserable. Take the Force Negations out. We do want to bring in Leyline of Sanctity. They are a Thoughtseize deck. Definitely interested in Fury as well. Probably take out a couple copies of Forcible. I don't think that's a card that's ultimately that relevant in the matchup. Submit. On the play for game number 2. So we have turn 1 Atraxa. I think I'm into that. Okay, and we even have Fury to back it up. Volcanic, pitch, pitch. First turn, show and tell. This is why I played the deck again today, because we did this a bunch in the first video. Today, not so much. Today has been a little stinky so far. Atraxa will enter. Choke. Okay, sure. I don't care. Alright, so a card of each type. We'll take Tropical for land. Do I want to show them the Leyline? I guess it all gets revealed. So I guess it's free to take the Leyline of Sanctity. Probably take Gristlebrand, Violent Outburst. I believe that's one of every type. A bunch of people like attack me in the comment section of my Reanimator video. Like, you clown, you missed this one card this one time. You're the worst Magic player I've ever seen. Yeah, I mean, sometimes people make mistakes. It happens. It's just a game. Alright, Misty Rainforest. Into Bayou. They're deciding to play Thoughtseize. I do have this Fury rolled up, so that's kind of unfortunate. But maybe they've decided they've already lost this game and they just want the info. Fury down. Draw for turn. It's another Spirit Guide. Swing. So they'll go to 10. On their end step, we'll play the Violent Outburst into Emrakul. We don't need to help them along the way by doing it in our main phase. Quarian Ranger, sure thing. And then they play a Dryad Arbor. Okay, so that's fine. End step. How do you feel about a little bit of Emrakul, huh? Feeling good about that? We will cast this Hypergenesis. And it resolves Emrakul. We'll put it in Leyline of Sanctity, and then the rest is really just up to them. Sweet. We have taken game number 2 from Elves. Now we need to win game 3 on the draw. Going to just resubmit. I think our configuration for game 2 is just fine. So we have Force, which is nice, but the rest of this hand is kind of bad. I think you're supposed to like having Hypergenesis is actively terrible. This is another turn 1. Yeah, this is just another turn 1 keep. Bottom the Volcanic. And it's actually sort of Thoughtseize proof in the fact that a Thoughtseize on Shardless Agent or Show and Tell doesn't matter, but if they hit a Simian Spirit Guide, it delays us a turn. I guess that they should take the Atraxa. That would be the target. Once upon a time. Gaia's Cradle. Bayou. Do you have it? They're not tapping for black. Green Sun Zenith. Looks like we're gonna do a little bit of showing. Maybe a little bit of telling, who knows? Let's see what happens. Draw. Another land. Fetch. Grab the tropical. And I'm of the opinion that you want to show and tell and not Shardless Agent, because Hypergenesis might benefit our opponent more than it does us. So let's just put the Atraxa in and not overcommit. They have a Visionary. Okay. Atraxa Grand Unifier triggers. I'm interested in Force of Will. This I can't take the Violent Outburst. So we'll take Volcanic Island. The ley line here is kind of free. So if I take the Atraxa, it gives me another thing to pitch, but it's not another thing to put into play. So that's what I'm thinking about at the moment. I think you're probably supposed to just play it safe and take the Atraxa. I believe that's one of every type. Alright. Pass the turn. Nettle Sentinel. Okay. We know that they have a Cradle. They've played the Cradle. Heritage Druid. 3 cards in hand. I mean, I'm not going to force this. Cradle now taps for 4 mana. You can have a Birch Lore. That's fine. 2 cards remain. And it looks as if they're passing, which is a good sign for the home team. Draw Step is another land. Let's get in there. Swing, swing. Pass. Another copy of Dryad Arbor, 2 cards in hand. They tap the Cradle for 6. Natural Order. I will attempt to force. You have 1 card. Does it burn me? Is it a second Natural Order? It appears no. Okay. Another land. Swing, swing. And we'll pass. So they're at 5. You could, in theory, Shardless Agent to just put in the ley line. I don't think that's really worth the risk. And just like that, we are 1-1. I will see you in match number 3. With Card Hoarder, renting your favorite combo deck has never been easier. There isn't a more affordable solution for Magic Online. Want to play the deck in this video? Check out the pinned comment below to easily rent the deck from Card Hoarder. Did you know you can rent the Epic Storm from Card Hoarder for as little as 7 tickets a week? We've made it simple to do so by including a button to rent the entire deck at theepicstorm.com/decklist. Round 3, we're on the play. This is turn 1. I like turn 1. Keep. No idea what our opponent's playing, by the way. And we're going to go to their upkeep to cast this, because this way they start with a hand, or they start with permanents in play that are summoning sick. I guess that's my point. Alright, we're in their upkeep. Violent Outburst. Cast Hypergenesis. Emrakul. Bristlebrand. They put in an island, and that's it. Do my creatures get +1/+0 until end of turn? They do! Nice. I will allow Brainstorm to resolve. We win! Yes! That's the kind of magic we're here for. You'll love to see it. They're not really sure what they're playing, but I have to imagine Mystical Dispute is a card we're interested in. Let's maybe shave the Omniscience and, I don't know, the basic Mountain. I guess the Forest is slightly better because I boarded out the Forest 1 round, but it's slightly better because both our Cascade creatures need it, where only one of them needs the Mountain. Game number 2. Sure. Keep. Flooded Strand. And they're passing. Our best draw is likely a Spirit Guide. I mean, land 3 technically allows us to cast our Violent Outburst. At this point, we want a different blue card to pitch. They grab a Tundra and Ponder. Might have wanted to consider waiting to play the land until after they were done pondering, because they could draw into a blue source and keep that open, where now they're not doing that. Draw for turn. Alright, these draw steps haven't been amazing, but it's fine. Land number 3. Card we're concerned about here is Teferi, but it looks like our opponent doesn't have it. Emrakul. Alright, pass. Current plan is to end step the Violent Outburst and then untap and try it again. Ooh. So let's try responding to this Containment Priest. Let's Violent Outburst. They have 5 cards in hand. Is it an Orm's Chant? What are you playing? This like blue-white Omni or something? Pitch the Atraxa. They are in fact blue-white Omni. Okay, I guess you got me with your Containment Priest. Sure. Alright, so now we're sort of forced to board in Fury. Really don't want to board. I just don't think Fury's good in the matchup. If they are on Omni, I want my own copies of Omniscience. Maybe we shave like 1 Emrakul and another land. Going down to 14 lands is so dangerous. Okay. Game 3 on the play. Sure. We need to draw a large creature in mana number 3. Going out with a mulligan to 5. Volcanic Island passed the turn. We're at least 2 turns away. As I mentioned, we need mana number 3, and we need to put a large creature in, and right now we don't have any of that. Flooded Strand. Draw for turn. Okay, pass. Another strand from them. They have 5 in hand. Land, please. Okay, so now we just need a threat. Okay, so they fetched a basic plains. There's the Containment Priest again. I am willing to battle over this. Force of Will, pitching the Agent. First pitch Brainstorm. And I think what we want to do now is just hard cast the Force of Negation. Get out of here, Containment Priest. You have 2 in hand. 3 with their draw step. So pretty even at the moment. Alright, we have our large creature. I just need to draw it into mana number 3. They Brainstorm. Prismatic Vista. 3 cards in hand. Oof. I mean, I did board out 2 lands. They have 4 cards. Am I supposed to let this happen? I think so. Omniscience. Omniscience Wars! Alright, we're going to respond to this. Let's Violent Outburst. What is this? Search your library for an instant or sorcery card, reveal them, put it to your hand, shuffle. I don't want to know what that's doing, so I'm just going to counter it. I've never seen that card before in my life. Okay, so now we will Cascade, grab the Hypergenesis. They're hellbent, so the only thing we have to do is stop this Brainstorm. Put Gristle in. And now this Violent Outburst resolves. We have a 8/7, and now we'll draw 7. We do have the Mystical Disputes in the deck. Okay, draw 7 more. Just really need to let them know that we have it all. I actually went to go pay mana for that. I forgot about the Omniscience. And we win! 2-1. Take that, Containment Priest. See you in match 4. If you're still watching, make sure to give this video a like, comment, and subscribe. While you're near the description, here's a reminder to use our affiliate links if you're going to make a purchase from Amazon, Card Hoarder, or TCG Player. Just above those affiliate links, you'll find our social channels. Make sure to join those to connect with us. Match 4, we're on the draw. This hand only has 1 mana. I think you're supposed to ship this. This seems fine, bottoming the Hypergenesis. Much better hand. Let's see what Simpin for Saffron is playing. Big Saffron Island fan. Island Ponder, also a big Bosch and Roll fan. They did not shuffle on the Ponder. Another Atraxa, so that's actually not bad because we can pitch one of these to force a negation. Our best draw just became one of our 8 copies of Spirit Guide. Prismatic Vista and they're passing. Draw. No such luck. We'll pass. So now we have 14 lands or 8 Spirit Guides, so over a third of our deck are good draws at the moment. The Brainstorm plus fetch. Well, Brainstorm on the end step, untap and fetched. Grabs another basic island. And they're passing the turn with 7 cards. Okay. Draw step. There's our monkey. So now we have Violent Outburst on their turn. Or if they give us an opening. They're not giving us an opening. I think I'm going to just wait it out. They discarded Jace, so they are a blue control deck. Atraxa number 3. Unfortunate. So you could main phase it. I'm not going to. I'd rather just wait for them to tap mana at some point. Like, now seems as good a time as ever. Let's attempt to put something broken on the table. Brainstorm on the stack. Counter target spell is not an option at the moment. Let's get a little violent. Cascade. Look at that, right on the top. Hypergenesis. Spell Pierce. Annoying. Let's attempt to force that. Pitching in Atraxa. They have 6 cards in hand. They're likely to have a force. And they do. Which is Snapcaster Mage. They'll put 2 back and have 5 cards in hand. We need to draw a mana and resolve the show and tell. So that's asking for a lot here. Draw step. Nope. We have to pass. Narset Parter of Veils. Ay. Okay. They find Force of Will. Draw. Not looking good for the home team. Narset again. They're likely on the Days Undoing deck that Juju Bean won the Showcase Finals with. Swords to Plowshares, Ponder. I guess Juju's deck didn't have Jace or Spell Pierce in it, so that's not true. Draw for turn. We hit land 3. They sub 6 cards in hand. It's so much. 3 mana. Back to basics. We know that they have a force in hand, so if I play the Violent Outburst, I'm just done. Okay. I'm going to pick it up. We've lost this one, especially with the Narset already in play. Definitely want Mystical Disputes. In these matchups, I think it's fine to board out Omniscient, so we can get rid of that. And let's board out 1 Spirit Guide. You could board in Fury for the Narset or possible Hate Bears, but I don't think Fury's really worth it just for Narset. Game 2 on the play. This Hypergenesis, go away. Mulligan. So this is a turn 1. I guess we don't have any large creatures. Keep, and I think you're supposed to bottom the Force of Negation. Because having Show and Tell gives us... Really wish that this was a Violent Outburst. Maybe we do this. Tropical Pass. Island Ponder, sure. They shuffled on the Ponder. So now we have the Violent Outburst, which is great, but we don't have a large creature to put into the battlefield. Prismatic Vista, pass. Another Show and Tell. They grab them out, and it might be a back to basics game. I guess it was a Prismatic Vista. Flooded Strand, and then pass the turn. Draw. Another monkey. I think I'm going to ditch Agent. We just need a large creature. Back to basics. Let's attempt to force this pitching Show and Tell. I can use the Dispute to protect on my turn. Alright, back to basics happens. Deck, please give me a large creature here. Pretty please. Pretty please. Draw. Okay. They are tapped out. We're going to go for it. Violent Outburst. Can't talk. Okay. Hypergenesis. Emrakul. They have land. It's worth noting that this isn't a guaranteed win. Still has 3 cards in hand. We saw Jace the Mind Sculptor in game 1. That isn't out to this Emrakul. They play a Ponder. They shuffle. 4 cards in hand. Hey, we got it. Okay. Resubmit. Game 3, we have double force and an agent, but we don't have any lands. This hand's super risky. You would actually have to draw running mana sources for this hand to be good. I'm going to mulligan. Much better. Much better. Bottom the Hypergenesis, and then you have Force of Negation to protect your Violent Outburst. Turn 1 Prismatic Vista. Ponder. They do not shuffle. You draw Gristlebrand, okay. I don't hate that. We are looking for land 3 or Spirit Guide. Another copy of Prismatic Vista. Draw for turn. Mystical Dispute's a good one, but we still need more mana. Brainstorm. They fetch with Prismatic Vista in the upkeep, so they didn't want the other 2 cards. They grab another island. Okay, 3 basics. Counterbalance. Is that a card that I guess lands would counter my um my Hypergenesis. Let's attempt to dispute that, I guess. Okay, so that worked. They have 4 in hand. Land, please. There we go. They're tapped out. I think I'm supposed to jam here. And I'm going to play the Outburst instead of the Agent, even though it's an instant, because I want to be able to pitch to force. And it just resolves. Okay. Big fan of that. The opponent's done. That's a real shame. Alright, so we're 3-1 with 1 match left to go. I believe in us. Want early access to articles at theepicstorm.com? Become a member of our Patreon to get articles 7 days early, on top of other sweet benefits, and help us pay our website team. You can sign up at patreon.com/theepicstorm. The 5th and final match, we are on the draw, and obviously we're going to keep this. This hand is very good. Let's go! The Lotus Petal. Are you going to try to turn 1 me? You don't want to do that. Chalice of the Void. That's actually really obnoxious, because we're a Hypergenesis deck. Am I supposed to just allow that to happen? I think I'm supposed to force here. So they're 8 casts and they're fighting over a Chalice 0. Okay. So that means we have 4 Show and Tells, and the Cascade spells are now useless. Well, this doesn't matter. Okay. Show and Tell? Give me Show and Tell. And then they find Saga. No! Could try the beatdown plan, but I don't think I actually like that, so I'm going to pass. Saga goes to 2. Come on, deck. Show and Tell. Am I really supposed to try to beat them down? I'm going to pass. So Saga will happen. They're probably just going to get like a Mox Opal here. And they do. Like, I just don't think Spirit Guide beatdown is likely to win. Well, maybe if I can hardcast all my stuff without pitching another. So bad. Okay. We be beaten. You want to double chalice me, this is what you get. Let's cast the other one. Splitting up our monkeys is a good thing. Okay. Next turn I can start casting Violent Outburst to pump. Yeah, you afraid? You just forced an Elvish Spirit Guide, you coward. Swing. Take 4. They also force pitch force there. This is really your own fault. Yeah, that's right, you concede. Dirty 8 cast players. I hate 8 cast so much. They deserve that. Okay. So we're at 65 cards. We definitely need Force of Vigor in the matchup. Dispute's pretty good against all their counter magic. Omniscience can go. We don't need that. And then we have to find 3 more cuts. I'm going to board out 1 land. And after that, I think it's probably just one of each Spirit Guide. Nope. Going to 6. We'll draw running lands, right? We don't have to worry about anything. What bad things could possibly happen to me? Mishra's Bauble. Another Bauble. Emery. Finds 2 more Baubles. So they draw off their 2 Bauble triggers. We draw. Alright, so I need to draw a land next turn. We have turn 2 Violent Outburst. There's this Saga. They have 4 in hand. They can play a Bauble here. Chalice on 1. That just literally doesn't matter. Come on, deck. Please give me a land. Pretty please. Let's see it. Deck. Nope. Have to pass. Saga goes to 2. They're going to replay a Bauble with the Emery. Another Chalice? Yeah, you got it. For sure. Yeah. Let's see if we can get lucky enough to draw land this time. We do. Okay. I want to do this while they're tapped out, so I'm going to... Yeah, I'm still going to do it now. There's some consideration to waiting, so that way they don't get to put their stuff into play. But I think them possibly having Flusterstorm or Metallic Rebuke outweighs the ability for them to put Thought Monitors onto the table. Force pitching Thought Monitor. Force of Will pitching Force of Negation. They have 3 in hand. Hypergenesis. Force pitching Thoughtcast. We will force pitching Shardless Agent. They have 1 in hand. It'd have to be like Mind Break here. My opponent is complaining in chat about the number of forces that I've drawn. Okay. Sure. Does my spell resolve? Hey, our spell is finally resolved. Atraxa. They have 1 card in hand. Is it a permanent? Triggers. So let's take the land. Show and tell. Shardless Agent, I think, counts as an artifact, and then I can take the Atraxa, Force Negation. Yeah, let's do this. Boom, that was good. Pass that turn. Get wrecked. What can 8-cast do with 2 cards in hand and a Urza Saga trigger? Well, the answer is they can see the game. It's over. We went 4-1 again with Hypergenesis and Legacy. I love it. All right, so I don't think I'd change the deck list at all, if I'm being honest. Like, 2 Fury, 2 Force of Vigor felt fine. They never really came up. We didn't face Reanimator. Leylines did get boarded in. Like, it felt like this was a good deck list. I'd probably run the same 75 all over again. So let's take a look at these and see what we get. Doesn't look like anything too good. An unplayable CDH commander, Azusa. Always watching, standard all-star. But not a whole lot here. Anyway, thank you for watching. I do appreciate it. Have a great day. Keep storming. Hey, Bryant Cook here. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, but also follow the social media channels down below. If you want to support this content directly, I would recommend going to theepicstorm.com/shop. And if you need a little bit of assistance with the Epic Storm to get to that next level, I would recommend going to theepicstorm.com/tutoring. Don't worry, there's more great content coming right up.